Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Friday afternoon, Zoom. And crypto or Bitcoin hasn't done much this week. I mean, it's done a lot. It just hasn't really accomplished much. So it bounced up above 19. It cratered yesterday to about 18.1 after the CPI news came out, the bad economic data. Then it bounced right back to about 19.8 yesterday. It was threatening 200 or 20K. Then kind of settled around 19.5 or 19.4, and then we're down a little bit today, but still in the 19. So let's check it out on the chart. Okay, folks should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yes.
Thank you. And the range is still the same. It hasn't budged. We've been in this range since June, between 18. Well, actually, I dropped it down to 18.4. We're at 18.8 for a while. And then, the top of the range is 24.4. We haven't really been close to that, since mid-August. So, and this 20,400 seems to be resistance, sort of a range within the range. And then we've hit this 18.4 a couple times, but bounced off of it. So, the bulls seem to be defending 19-ish for at least the short term. So that's good news. We haven't dropped or stayed below that for any length of time this year. But the bad economic data keeps pouring in. And I suppose it's good news because Bitcoin's hung in there despite all this inflation worry and regarding on-risk assets. So that's my little spin on the bad economic news and Bitcoin's reluctance to push above 20K. Ethereum.
Hang on a second, CJ. On one of the things I noticed on the Bitcoin chart at the bottom, all the volume that is going on right now, as opposed to June, May, April, is that indicative of anything?
They talked about in the CryptNation call yesterday that there's a lot of volume in this lower area. And Peter's right. You see big volume spikes here, and you see a big red one here, followed up by a couple of really good green ones. So people, I suspect it's more institutional and whales, as opposed to your nickel and dime retail buyers, but because they won't come in until the news is really good, like it pushes past 50K or something like that. But that's a more detailed way of looking at what I meant when I said the bulls are defending this area.
Okay.
Because every time it slips below, the whales come in and buy. So it's not really the focus of my Zoom, but if you're a hodler or a long-term swing trader, I do have the fear and greed index up, and we're at extreme fear at 20. We've seen it in single digits this year, but this is the area where it's a good idea to buy, generally speaking, not financial advice, then sell at extreme greed. So that's my really simple strategy for hodling. I don't do much of it, but I do some. So I like to buy down here and sell over here. So anyway. So any other questions on the Bitcoin? I was going to look at Ethereum real quick and then get into Altcoin Alert. Okay, Ethereum is, I forgot to draw the sub range, but it's been staying above 1250 for the most part. It's had some resistance at 1400. You can see it's hit the high 1300s a few times in September, once in October. So its range is really narrow, between about 1250 and 1400. And then we have the broader range here between 1,000 and just under 2,000. So, Ethereum's hanging in there reasonably well too, despite the bad economic news. So, any questions about Bitcoin and the Ethereum in the larger overall market?
Nope.
All right, Peter, let's address the thing we were talking about earlier. What was that again that you asked me?
Right. It's about your trading habits. And you had mentioned on Monday that you spend a number of hours in your trading process, but you only do 3 to 5 trades per day. Do you spend all that time preparing to choose your trade, or how does that work out for you?
It's a good question. Most of that time is spent waiting for the setups that I want to occur. Now, I don't just sit here and stare at my screen and wait for that. That's why I show you guys how to do alerts and look at specific setups and things like that. So my morning, routine is actually fairly quick. I look at Altcoin Alert, and I do the very thing I show you guys is what I do. It doesn't take very long, and I set my alerts. Usually, I choose 3 to 5 coins to trade on the 5 to 15 minute chart. I may scalp something on the 1 to 3 minute chart on crypto, and then I do some other trading as well on the sort of a forex thing, crypto, or the US 30 and the Nasdaq, the indices. I trade those as well on an MT4 account. But that's, and then there's one other short-term crypto thing I do. Those keep me pretty busy in the morning from about Pacific time, 6 a.m. to noonish. So I'm juggling a few different things. One of which is using Altcoin Alert and a couple other sources to choose the coins I'm going to follow that day and set my alerts based on the strategies I discussed with you guys, and a few others that I haven't done that with yet because I'm just trying them out. I'm usually testing something. Does that answer your question, Peter?
Yes, thanks.
Very good. All right, let's we're on Altcoin Alert, and I'm on the altcoin radar. Easy mode is off. I've got all the information. I'm sorting by AA score. Let me refresh that. I was looking at this earlier. And very bullish is Celsius, which I think is the governance coin of a bankrupt exchange or platform. So let's not do that one. Ocean, I kind of like. And it's got a 77.5 AA score, kind of bearish though on the technicals, bullish on the short-term sentiment. But again, the AA score tells me that there's a 77.5% chance that in the past, when Ocean was in this situation, it would go up 3% within a 48 to 72 hour window. So as a day trader, I like that, like a little sooner than 48 to 72 hours, but I'll take what I can get. Let's look at Ocean. So this, as to what Peter was asking me about, this is similar to what I would do. I would go to this chart, give it a quick look, and get rid of some of these. On the hour chart, see where it's been. Get an idea of its range, trading range. It's been as high as 16.5 cents about a week ago. We had the big dip yesterday down to 13.76 cents. So that's my trading range. I like retracements. I like to catch them low and then have them go back to where they were. It's my favorite way to trade. We'll take a look at the 5-minute chart to see if there's something going on now. And it's Squeezeville. That's really, really tight. Not even 1% between the bottom and the top. And this is the problem with Friday afternoon. So most of the alerts we'll set on this will, if they trigger at all, will be later on tonight or tomorrow morning. And it's just gone straight, since this morning. So not a good setup at all. yeah, there's not even a good, we're pretty much at the support area, so there's really no good place to set up a price alert. Go to the 15-minute chart. It might drop down to this area. There's some support right around here at 14.2 cents. I mean, it did drop all the way down to about 13.9. So right around 14 cents could be a good place for a price alert. If I don't see an obvious price alert on the 5-minute, I usually go to the 15, then the 30 to get an idea of where the coin's been. Okay, and then the other thing I like to do, as you know, is go to my 15-minute chart and set indicator alerts. There's a few things I like to do. One of my favorites is divergence, which is a disagreement between the candle action and the indicators. It does have some predictive ability, so that's what I like about it. If I can get, you know, a buy order in before the move happens, that's the best way to trade. This is the divergence for many indicators, volume 4. It does repaint, which means it changes sometimes but it's alert friendly, which is what I like about it. So what I'll often do is set my alert on divergence, and then I'll look at this other indicator, this multiple divergences rework. But this one is not as indicator or alert friendly. And then if I see consistent divergences happening, you know, that I might be inclined to get in or to set an alert and see what happens, reevaluate when that alert goes off. So on this one, especially for spot trading, that's going to be a bullish divergence we look at. And you know, this bullish divergence, that was kind of late at night, probably wouldn't have taken that one. This one happened at 3:30 in the morning. But regardless, you could be in a different time zone. 3:30 for me is going to be 6:30 for someone on the East Coast. So if that alert goes off, and you're an early riser, you can catch that. Maybe wait till some of these other indicators agree, which your MFI is going up, your RSI. You can wait for the MACD. MACD is kind of slow. And TDFI is a trend direction force indicator, something I've had on my charts for about 2 months now. I sort of use it as confirmation. It's a little slow as well, so I tried to trade off of it. Didn't work very well, but if any of you guys want to experiment that, let me know. I'd appreciate it. But this one would have been pretty good. Get in right about here, and you know, goes all the way up to 10%. That's a great day trade. I probably wouldn't have held it that long. I would have looked at some of these areas here. Actually, I would have bounced over to the 5-minute chart and checked out what was going on over there. I could do that now off this bullish divergence. This one fired at 9:30 this morning. As I showed you, this coin really hasn't done much at all. And if this goes off at 9:30 on the 15, you can see at 9:30 it just went through a dip sequence. It's starting to come out of it. So you'll see that from time to time. And on my 15-minute indicator alerts, what I'm really looking to do is to get an indication of, is there a 1, 2, 3 dip happening, you know, or a dip sequence in the middle or towards the end on the 5-minute chart. And setting these alerts on the 15-minute chart help me sniff those out. So that's, yeah, if you want to set that alert here, right click, divergence, negative, we want positive, once per bar close, might want to keep that, use that option. And you know, what's your information source, you can track that, AA score, and you're good to go. So I'm doing mostly shorts, so I'm not setting many bullish alerts. But if you want to, that's how you do that on the divergence indicator. Along the same, we're trying to find dips and retraces. So another way to find those, so if you're don't have a good handle on divergence, the MFI and the RSI are kind of similar, and you can set alerts on these. So the MFI dips, it's about 1 for 4. This dip here below the 20, went up a little bit and then crashed. This dip and then retrace was pretty good. This was from yesterday. And then, yeah, did dip at first, then made a nice move up. Yeah, RSI is pretty similar. And if you want to do that alert, right click on your MFI, crossing up. 20 is generally considered the oversold area. So we want it to dip below that and come back up once per bar. AA score purchase. And you can do the same thing on the RSI and the MACD. And then finally, if you don't want to dip trade, you want to catch the trend, wait for a trend to establish itself and ride it. I've been using this SuperTrend buy and sell. And this has done okay. This buy, almost 6%. This sell did not do. But you want to match it up with your other indicators as well. So that buy was going sideways on the MFI, but up on the others. So yeah, I probably would have taken that one. The sell here, again, sideways on the MFI, down on the RSI and the other. So probably would have taken that, would have gone against me at first, and then eventually would have had a nice, yeah, 4% there. So, and then this one triggered here. All the indicators are in agreement. Got the MFI, RSI pointing down. MACD's just crossed, and TDFI is even on board. So this one's kind of finicky, it's TDFI. So that would be good to get in. Do a quick 2.5%, and go sideways for a while, but that's still a pretty good trade, especially, if you're doing a sell, you're on leverage, probably, 2-3%, 5%, 10, something like that. So that's how I would do that one. Okay, I think I covered anything. Any questions on Ocean? And remember, I'm just trying to give you guys options instead of throwing a dart at the board when you see an AA score, or even if you're using some other information source, try to get the best entries you can. All right, let's see what else we can find.
I know a lot of times when I'm looking at the AA scores or the whatever is just for this entire chart, is that almost always if something's like very bullish or very bearish or whatever, it's already done its thing. It's usually taken off already or crashed already.
That's true to some degree. Yeah, like, well, this Celsius is interesting. It's down 10%, but it's got a very bullish score. That means, AA thinks it's going to come back. But sometimes you will see, depending on the market overall, we would see this a lot in the bull market is, we get a high AA score, but then we'll see the 24-hour changes, 20 or 30%. It's like, oh, it's too late. So it's not perfect. And it is mostly, what I like about it is it's looking for bargains. It's looking for the most part, it's the ones that show up are coins that have been beaten down or due for a retracement. So
how do you feel about as far as the reverse of that, as far as, using it in order to find shorts? Do you feel like it works well for shorts?
Wow, I haven't done that since this morning. Yeah, so I was the AA score, and I've messaged support about this. These 5 coins have been the same for weeks, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. So at the current time, looking for shorts on the AA score is not very useful. But where you can find it is some of these other I think I did the long-term sentiment this morning. Yeah. And this morning, I think it was ETC. I'm in that one now with a profitable position and a short. And yeah, long-term sentiment, bearish, elder impulse, bearish. Well, we're here now. I want to go ahead and look at, I was going to look at a short anyway for you guys. That's what we like to do on Fridays. So Nathan, since you have the floor, what do you like? You want to check out Mana, Solana, Rose, Raven, ICP,
I'm really
XLM?
surprised to see that those are the ones we don't like, ones that are good for shorts. I
Yeah.
like Mana.
All right. You like it to go short?
That's what it's been doing for me lately.
Okay. Let's check it out. Mana. I'll turn that off.
Actually, I'm experiencing a lot of the weekend stuff. It's just best to go short.
Yeah. Since last 5 days, it's down. It was down 16%. Came up, went down again. It's down 12% this week. On the 5-minute. It's kind of doing a long, slow dip without enough volume to really make a bubble. Volume's kind of low, but again, that's normal this time of day. We're almost 3% between the Bollinger Bands. Not great, but not terrible. So yeah, I don't like the setup that much. I would like it better if this were bubbling out. Then we'd have let's say if this were the beginning of the bubble, we'd be into maybe the second or third dip of a 1, 2, 3 dip. But so this is something where I would go over to my 15-minute chart. And I would got Divergence, which is doing really well for shorts.
CJ, if you're looking for a short and it's on the bottom of the Bollinger Band and you're talking about a 1, 2, 3 dip, then you're actually looking at a long.
You're right. I just realized that as soon as you spoke up. Okay. So
we're actually, this looks more like a trend that you'd be wanting to take it as high as it gets, like somewhere near the EMA or somewhere near there, and take it to go down.
right. So I don't usually trade off the EMA, though I have it here on my chart, but
well, you get what I'm saying. You want it to be going up a bit so that then you ride it on the next wave down. And because it's trending down, it should keep heading down.
right. So for that kind of thing, you might want to do your MFI or your RSI alerts, because this one didn't do that well, but this one did. If it goes above 80 and then comes back down, you get in probably right about here. Looks like the others are mostly confirming. So you're down maybe 1.5%, bounces back up, and then it's down again. So, that's a really good trade. Takes most of the day, but 5%, that's good stuff. There's another entry here that went above 80 and then came back down. Yeah, these kind of things are golden when they bounce back up and then crash back down again. That's good stuff on the short side. So yeah, and on the MFI, if you want to do that kind of alert, crossing down on the 80 once per bar close, and whatever you want to call it, you're good to go. You can do it on the RSI as well. And 70 is usually considered the overbought. And there you are. But we did our short a little out of order, so I got a little flummoxed. Thanks for your help, Craig. All right, and then I've been using the SuperTrend a little bit more, and then trying to match it up with my other indicators. And this buy alert did really well. This was yesterday, yeah, yesterday after the drop, and this sell alert obviously did pretty well. You can see it's confirmed by, it's trending down, MACD cross, TDFI down. So
Everything's lined up there, isn't it?
and there you go, down 3%. If you're at 5x leverage, it's 15%. That's a great day trade. Okay, any questions on Mana?
As far as the day trade goes, what do you consider to be at least the minimum amount you're looking for?
Well, AA says 3 to 5%, which I always consider that as a spot trade. So usually like 3% on the spot side, and then on the leverage side, probably at least 1% on a chart should be. And I usually trade at 10x leverage, so 10x. And then once I hit 10x, I've been doing, this is a thing I've been doing lately. I'll move a stop loss into profit just to like break even. And then I'll let it ride for a while, and I'll set additional, additional stops, or I'm sorry, additional alerts to let me know when the trade's progressed. And then I've also been tinkering with the trailing stop loss on both BitGet and Bybit. So we may talk about that in the near future. But yeah, for a spot trade, I'm usually looking for 2 to 3%. A lot has to do with the retrace potential. Let's say this is a 1, 2, 3 dip, and I'm going along on it. I'm looking at this. There's obvious resistance here. Had I gotten in here, the resistance there is 5%. That's really good. On the 15-minute chart. So 3 to 5% is a general guideline, and then I look at specifically what the retrace potential is to narrow that down some.
But with the 1, 2, 3, it usually says that it's going to return up to the EMA line, right? So you're talking about probably maybe 2.5.
Well, I think you mean the SMA line, which is this
SMA
line
line,
here.
right?
And then had you gotten in here and you go to the SMA line, it's just under 1%. I'm more aggressive than that, so I'm more interested with support and resistance at this point, than I am the SMA line. So, I see resistance here. I see it some more up here. I often choose the middle. There's some right here. So let's talk about this in a little more detail. This is important. Move this down. So where do you get out? If you're getting in right here, I'm seeing resistance here. You see there's multiple touches on this line, and they start to fade. And then again here. Again here. And again here. So these are, and this is more of an art than a science, but so another trader might put these in different places. But so if I get in right here, that's 2%, maybe 2.8, 3.6. I'd probably set an alert here and move my stop loss into break even or a little bit above, and then maybe set alert, maybe set another one here and move my stop loss up again, or engage the trailing stop loss. And then maybe my final exit would be about here. If I didn't do the trailing stop loss. So, but you can see that, there's obvious multiple touches on these areas. So that's what I usually do. Any questions on that?
Well, so that's what you usually do, and you usually, I don't know, as far as your success rate goes, And that's sort of, because me, a lot of what I'm seeing is, you know, that it goes up to the SMA line and, you know, it's like maybe 1%. You know, sometimes it's higher and sometimes it's better, but these days it seems to be things are moving mostly just sideways with very small, you know, highs, lows.
Yeah, so on my long positions, I've been less aggressive than usual. I may just go for that first level I showed you and, you know, pick up that 1%. You know, and I'm usually on leverage anyway, so it's 10%, and you know, I like 10%. So yeah, it's you know, in a bear market, it's harder to pick up those bigger numbers, 3, 4, 5%, you know, on the chart on the long side. So all right, any other questions? We should probably do one more. Well, we did our short. We can do another long, do a different sort. Let's see. Another sort I like to do is the Elder Impulse Daily, which is a technical indicator. We'll go ahead and do this on the long side. And I'm looking for a match between the Elder Impulse Daily and the long-term sentiment, which is the Twitter data. And when something lines up, that's worthy of further investigation. Got good, got a match here on Quant, which is a coin I like to trade. So let's check it out. Quant. Huh. I had that on my list, but okay, on the hour, had a nice move early this morning. It's done pretty well this week. Yeah, it's up nearly 30% this week. Slight dip towards the end of the day on the 5-minute. Yeah, it was up here around 176, dropped $10. Looking kind of squeezy here. This is normal this time of day. Yeah, less than 3% between the Bollinger Bands. Potential. Yeah. Price alert here around 160. It was down here this morning and yesterday afternoon, late in the afternoon. So that would be an area to put an alert if you just want to deal with that and don't want to deal with the indicator alerts on the 15-minute chart. But that's where we are. And divergence. The long divergence did pretty well after a dip. Get in right about here. And then makes a nice move up. That's a really good one. Shorts have not done well. I don't know if this is something that's on a leverage platform anyway. So I think we're only trading along on this one, but each of the divergences have done reasonably well. It's, you know, eventually. Our super trend. We have a buy alert here. And yeah, it looks like everything confirmed. Yeah, made a nice move. I should show you guys on my super trend buy and sell. I did change. Actually, no, I didn't. It's defaults on this. No, I didn't change it. Okay, never mind. It's a different indicator. And then, yeah, the MFI and RSI alerts, potential alerts did okay. Yeah, RSI or MFI would have put you in. Now this one, the MACD really wasn't looking good. And the TDFI wasn't either, so I don't think I would have taken that one. Well, maybe I would have. But yeah, there's a second one. Actually, there's 3 of them that came up in this range. So it would have dipped at first, but eventually been a pretty good trade. So if you got in here, go down 3%, then up, yeah, it's a really good trade. So yeah, you could put your alerts here on the MFI, but you guys have seen that at this point a few times, so you know the drill. On the SuperTrend, you can also set it, it'll for buys or sells or just, yeah, it only does buys or sells, yeah. Okay. So you have to set 2 alerts if you want to trade it both directions. Okay, any questions on quant? All right, any questions on Altcoin Alert day trading or the crypto markets overall? Very well, we're at about 40 minutes, so it's a good time to stop. If you're watching this on the recording, thanks for doing that. Please check out the opportunities in the comments below. Have a great weekend. If you're in carbon, stick around, we'll talk about that shortly.